Hello everyone and welcome back to One Piece. This is episodes 801, 802, 803, and 804. Almost got through those numbers, being able to say them properly. I am looking forward to this. We're in the 800s now. We've done it. We've reached 800, and we are in the middle of the Whole Cake Island arc. Last episode, I'm pretty sure the last episode ended with, and I should know this because I recorded the previous video yesterday, so it should be fresh on my mind. But I'm pretty sure it ended with Sanji stepping in front of the woman whose name is... I can't remember. It doesn't matter, but it does to me. Cassette. He stands in front of Cassette, stops the food that's about to hit her, and is like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You almost damaged this woman's face. So he's pretty pissed at his brothers. His brothers are pissed at him. Oh, his whole family hates him. It's great. It's awesome. So yeah, we're going to be jumping into these episodes. Make sure to support this video if you can. Liking the video, commenting down below, subscribing to the channel. All of that stuff helps me out a lot. And go to my Patreon account if you want the full-length reaction, early access, and exclusive videos. You can get the next 3 weeks at least of these videos in full-length version on my Patreon account right now. You can also join the YouTube membership down below to get 1 week early on edited videos. It's very worth it. Go check that out. Anyway, let's jump into this. This is One Piece episode 801. One Piece. Woo! Oh my god, that went far. Okay, recap Rubik's. If you are new to this channel, this is a Rubik's Cube that I do while the recap is going on, and my goal is to beat the recap. But I can't start it yet. I can't start it until this intro is over. Okay, recap Rubik's. Here we go. Okay, I mean, this is as far as I got, and what I just saw a bunch of Sanji on the screen. Is this gonna be Sanji's backstory revealed? Troubled family life. That's what the episode's gonna be called. Oh, and I forgot we're in the middle of this battle. Yes, double Culverine. Hell yeah. Hell yes. He's gotta have some sort of limit, right? I mean, Luffy has probably a bigger limit within 4th gear. Okay, hell yeah. King Kong or whatever. Gun. Oh my god. King Kong gun! Come on, yeah, no way they can withstand that, right? This is actually kind of what I said before, like, just hit through all of them at the same time, and to him. What? Did he run out? Oh no, did he run out of time? Shit, he was about to win! Damn, man. Damn. I mean, this is where Nami's soldiers come in to help, right? The ones that she called for. Ooh. Don't you see her cute freckles? How could you do this? That sounds awesome. He's gonna eat it? Yes, Sanji! I mean, this goes back to the Zoro eating the rice balls off the floor. But it actually fits Sanji's character so much better. Oh, can't ruin his face before the wedding. Oh my god! Oh, she's so cute. Yeah. It's so frustrating being in a room with these people. Oh, bad influence? That man is a saint. I mean, except for all the murdering he probably did when he was a pirate. Oh. Oh, God. You know what, Sanji? Blow up your hands if it means that you can attack these guys. Oh, it's making me so mad. Oh, I hate them so much. I almost forgive Sanji for everything he's ever done that I haven't liked throughout the series. Because considering his upbringing, he could have been much worse. Damn. So it was all Tamago who gave the info. Oh my god. Holy shit. I hate them so much. I mean, I honestly love them as characters. I love how much rage I'm feeling right now. Oh, Zeph! I love the little bows on his mustache. Wow. Wow. Are we gonna be seeing this whole backstory again? It's funny because they're not even presenting this backstory like it's a flashback. Like they're presenting it as if we haven't seen this before. I guess, is it reanimated? It looks reanimated at least. The thing about seeing this backstory again is I've not only seen this backstory a lot, I've rewatched the live action so many times that I've seen it too much. Oh, and then this moment. I don't think we've really even seen Sanji like this ever since. So yeah, Zeph really is his weakness. Oh. Now he has to just hide. I mean, can't the trees give away where he is? Theoretically, these trees are alive. Yeah, you're doomed if you're found and no one saves you. I think you were found. Oh god. Okay, someone's gonna save you. Randolph. Randolph is gonna come. Watch this. Watch Randolph appear. Come on. Here he is. Here he comes. Ready? Fuck you. Okay. Good episode. All the stuff that was new in the episode is very good. I mean, the stuff that isn't new is still good, but I've seen it before. Like the whole Sanji backstory and stuff. I know it. I already know that bit. But man, oh, I gotta say, these are great villains. They're really good. Like Sanji's family, the Vinsmoke family, are incredible villains because I hate them so much. But I also like hating them. There's a big difference, and I think this is a perfect example. Like there's characters, you know, like Walpole. I hate Walpole, but I also don't like that I hate him. Like I don't find it enjoyable to hate him. He's just annoying to have on screen, right? And that doesn't mean not annoying characters are necessarily bad. It's just his specific brand of like annoying and evil and all of that just didn't work for me, right? And, you know, there's a few other characters like that. I didn't mind Moria. Like, I know a lot of people absolutely hate Moria. I didn't mind Moria. But I didn't, you know, he was just, he's kind of like a very neutral in terms of my feeling of him as a character. But I did hate him, like, morality-wise, you know. But, you know, like, he's in there somewhere. You could say, like, Caesar Clown is a very annoying character. I kind of, like, I obviously hate him from a moral standpoint, but I kind of liked him as a villain. So, like, you can see there's different levels there. Obviously, I mean, the lowest points are, like, Wanze and Absalom. Absalom's the worst. Absalom's the lowest point, where it's like, I hated the character, I hated the way the character was handled, and I, like, just everything about him I didn't like, right? So, like, there's a range there, okay? But then there are some characters that you hate, but it feels so good to hate them, you know? Arlong is one of those characters. You hate him, but it feels so good to hate him. And there are some characters that it's like, it feels good, like, they're really cool characters and really fun to fight, and I sort of don't even hate them. You know, I'm not even frustrated watching them. I just like watching them even though they're a villain. That's people like Crocodile, you know? I feel like Crocodile, it's like yeah, I hate him in terms of, like, I don't support anything he's doing, but I don't feel frustration watching him. I actually just feel like, wow, this guy's really cool. So, like, there's, you know, huge differences. The Vinsmoke family, though, are the perfect way to show off a character that every second they're on screen, I am furious. But at the same time, I'm also so happy that the show is getting me to feel that way about them, because there's a part of me also that finds them kind of cool. There's a part of me also that, like, you know, thinks it's gonna be fun fighting them, you know, like, that I'm seeing the potential there. I don't want their scenes to end. Like, if I really don't like a character, all I want is for us to just move on, like, not be watching their scenes anymore. But for the Vinsmoke family, it's like, no, I want more scenes with these motherfuckers, and I want to see the full story, the full ride that they're gonna take me on. Because I'm really curious about it, and I think it's a lot of fun. So they're doing it, like, this is really good. This arc, Whole Cake Island so far is better than I thought it was gonna be. And I feel like we haven't even gotten into the juice of it yet. We're still, like, on the outskirts of the arc. But yeah, it's I'm so excited. I'm just very excited to see more of this. Because yeah, it's a great setup. I love that they're basing all of, like, the main heart of this story around Sanji. I think that's super fun. And I love, like, I said it during the episode, but, like, they said to Sanji, like, oh, this guy's your weakness, Zeph, right? And I was like, yeah, I guess he is. And I was, like, trying to think about it. I was like, but is that, like, his biggest weakness or whatever? But, I mean, this was the advantage of showing the flashback in this episode, was, like, getting reminded of the, like, don't catch cold scene, where Zeph is saying, like, hey, be careful out there. And then Sanji, like, breaks down crying. I genuinely don't think we've seen him in that state ever since then. Like, that was one of our first impressions of him, you know, that was really early in us knowing Sanji when we saw that scene. And since then, like, nothing's hit him as hard. And I think that really goes to show, like, yes, no, Zeph is his number one weakness. Like, even more than women. Like, this guy means so much to Sanji. Like, that's his dad, basically, you know? It's funny that his actual, you know, blood relative dad, is the one, like, that's holding him hostage, essentially, like, threatening him. But it's, but yeah, I mean, it's, that Zeph is his actual dad. So yeah. Anyway, and now Luffy has to hide and wait. I feel like Randolph is gonna show up and defend Luffy because Nami convinced them to do it. I feel like that's gonna happen because otherwise, otherwise I don't know why they're setting up the Nami part of it. I mean, you could be setting it up to do other stuff, but she was specifically telling them like go and back up Luffy. So it's like this is the way that you get them to back up Luffy. They fight to defend Luffy for these 10 minutes until he can power back up, and then he can destroy Biscuit. So yeah, let's move on to the next episode. This is episode 802 of One Piece. Here we go. Alright, recap rubrics, here we go. Alright, that's the cube complete just in time. Hell yeah. Okay, this episode, I saw 6-6 on the screen. I need to stop accidentally seeing stuff. This episode is called The Downfall of Germa 66. Sanji kills his family. Randolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Okay, it's King Balm or whatever. I had the right idea. I just thought it would have been cooler if Randolph did it.
Nice attack, King Balm.
Hell yeah, Nami. It's not often that you get to have Nami save Luffy, you know, in combat. Good. She knows the situation. It's such a crazy, well, like, go in the branches. It's dangerous. Oh my god, don't carry him too far in. Hell yeah! He's just building up his army as he walks. I feel like there must be like an upper limit on how many you can control at once. Otherwise, I think he'd just keep going forever, like twice in MHA. This mirror world and stuff feels so Alice in Wonderland. Oh god. That's alright, they can deal with you. Even with these restraints on. That looks like the back of his head at least. Oh, no. Well, I mean, it still looks very similar to him. I'm surprised that guy didn't get hunted down like Duval did. He looks more like Sanji than Duval did. But I guess he didn't look like the wanted poster. Oh my god. Wait. Oh, that's behind them? In the mirror? Big Mom's there? Yeah. I hope she'll be happy by the end of this arc too. You get some information. Aww. See, this girl should get married to Sanji. Now, I mean, I know I've already shipped Sanji with other people in the past, like Baby 5. But this girl is almost better for him than Baby 5 is. You stay away from her. Oh my god. If this motherfucker does anything to her. What? Oh, fucking. Oh my god. Which one's blue? Hang on. Blue is Niji. Niji, you motherfucker. She didn't do anything. Uh-huh. Oh my god. Oh. Oh. Oh man. Oh god. It's not often that I feel this angry at characters. What's it look like in there? 6'6". Whoa. Are these like soldiers? Like super soldiers they're working on? Type MBs, type MSTs. What the hell is this? It seems like they're making super soldiers, but... Yeah, seems like that's what it is. So, most of the soldiers there now, these? And is that why they sort of like jump in front and we kill them without hesitation? Because we just like make more? Yes! Attack flowers! Attack an enemy that Luffy had to be in 4th gear to start doing damage to. He's just gonna grind through them. He has to stop for a 1/4 of a second to slash at you. Yes, Nami! I mean, you guys, you know, you were very happy to fuck with us. So, I don't feel bad for these plants at all. They were like laughing at the Straw Hat misfortune before. Here he comes. Yeah, Nami doesn't even know who it is. I just realized I think I was calling him Biscuit before because of his biscuit fruit. But his name is Cracker. Which I should have remembered because I made a joke about white people when they originally said his name. Oh my god. Well, hey, at least Cracker's taken down some people who could have been potential enemies for us. This is why I like using charm effects in RPGs. When you make the enemies take each other out. So effective. Culture fluid. I thought Vegapunk would come into it. Bloodline elements. Yeah, of course, they took it for themselves. I mean, it's similar to Kuma in the pacifistas, although they're they're clones. Although the pacifistas are basically like robots, while these are clones. They're not aware? They just think that, oh. God damn. Is he running out of oil in that, or is it just because he's so agitated he couldn't flick it right? I think it's probably that he's so agitated. Okay, motherfuckers. Yeah, Niji, come on. Yeah. Yes! Yes! I wouldn't have been mad if you went below the belt, to be honest. Yep. Oh my god. Fuck Niji, man. Oh. Whew. Yeah, they made me angry in this episode, and it's a really good anger feeling that they've given me. It's interesting looking back on my my prediction video and thinking of how I characterized Niji in that video was like, he's like a jealous, a jealous and immature guy, but he kind of cares about Sanji. That was like the prediction kind of thing that I had in my video for Niji, was that like, oh, he's immature and childish and a dickhead and also goes too far with things, but he cares about Sanji. But that's not true. These men are all just fucking tools. Okay. All right. It's okay. So, crazy. We got some cloning in this. It's so funny. Like, whenever One Piece introduces like a concept like this, I always look at it and I go, whoa, One Piece has cloning? But then I go, well, yeah, actually. Like, within 5 seconds, I go, yeah, actually, nothing is off limits in One Piece. Like, I don't think there's a single theme that One Piece could introduce that I'd be like, that came out of nowhere. Like, this show has so perfectly set up. Like, if in... let me think of another popular series. Let's say Demon Slayer, right? If in Demon Slayer the final movie comes out and Muzan like gets in a giant mecha and is like fighting people with this giant mech suit, I would be like, what? Huh? That really came out of nowhere. That's so strange. Whereas like you might have something like Legend of Korra, which I know some people didn't like the mech stuff, and Legend of Korra, I didn't mind it, and I don't think it came out of nowhere. I feel like they showed the progression of technology decently in that series, and showed how they could have gotten there. So like there's these different like levels of like, do we believe that this kind of thing, does it match the vibe of the universe? But I mean, one of my favorite things about One Piece is Oda has really, really well developed the universe where it's like nothing is off limits. Really nothing. Like everything can fit in here somewhere. He just has to say it's there, and then you'd go, well, yeah, okay, that makes sense. Like the world's a big place. So like if it's like I'm trying to think of a theme that we haven't touched on that I wouldn't be shocked with. Like aliens. I think we haven't touched aliens yet, right? I wouldn't be shocked. Like I would be surprised, but I wouldn't be like, what? This is so strange. Cuz it's like One Piece just does all of this stuff where I can genuinely go like, okay, yeah, aliens, that makes sense. Like they already so much crazy shit happens in this universe. We've got a cyborg on our crew, we've got a living skeleton on our crew. So like aliens, yeah, that makes sense. there are other creatures in space that are coming down. Yeah, I get it. So yeah, like I see this and I'm like, whoa, there's cloning in this, and then I go like, well, yeah, of course there is. Like cloning isn't really that much weirder than like the pacifistas, which is very similar to it. It seems like, the pacifistas are like, as far as I can understand, they're robots basically, really designed to be so close to Kuma, like as close to Kuma as possible. But I don't think they're clones of Kuma. But Vegapunk was involved in the same research as Judge was, so it makes sense. Like it would make sense if they it comes from the same sort of research that they did, but then one of them went into, okay, let's use this idea for building robots, these perfect, like incredibly strong duplicates of you know, strong individuals like Kuma. And then Judge moves into like, let's make an entire army of replaceable soldiers that are just like perfect clones of one another and will do what we need them to do. So yeah, it's very interesting. I'm just looking at my notes to see if there's anything that I want to talk about, but I don't think so. They were mostly just like giving us the lore of the clones and stuff in this episode, which is really cool, but I don't have any predictions for it or anything. I don't have any theories. So we're just going to move on to the next episode. This is episode 803 of One Piece. Here we go. All right, recap Rubik's. Here we go. And that's the cube complete. Oh, wow, okay. This episode's gonna be called, finally, what we've all been waiting for. Nami strikes back. It will never happen. It will never happen. But I would love if Nami solos Biscuit. Never in a million years. But that would be one of my favorite One Piece moments. I know she's just gonna buy time. Well, my camera went off. Hold on. I know that Nami's just gonna buy time, but it'd be so good if she beat him. Oh my god. I mean, I think she knows that. Yeah, you better wake up faster if you want to save her, motherfucker. Maybe you can break down the biscuits with rain or something, you know? Beat him with science. Something Luffy could never do. Get Senku in here. A lovely girl. Gust Sword! We've never seen Gust Sword, have we? I mean, yeah, this is her strongest move, so of course she's gonna use this. Doesn't seem to affect them too much. So her go-to move doesn't really work. Oh, look out! Oh, Jesus! I'm so hyped for this battle, though. Oh, Jesus. He certainly is. We need our food. Oh my god. He's an idiot. Yeah. But he's fucking badass. Yeah. You might as well extend him the same courtesy. Good, I like that. I think that's nice. He does it for us. She is. She always does that. She's clever. Gives herself the advantage with her words. Okay. Cool. It's all blocked though. Oh my god. Jesus, dude. Ah, he's up! He's up! She provoked him enough, delayed him enough. And inspired Luffy to get up. He probably recovered quicker because of that. Hell yes. Yeah, fuck you, dude. You know what? Zeph can handle himself. Fuck these guys up. Zeph will be fine. I feel like Zeph would be mad if he knew he was being used against Sanji. Oh god. It's not about being in love, dude. Although I am in love with her. But they're all different colors. Oh. Oh. She does have a 0 on her shirt, so yeah. The Ray makes sense. Ah. So Sanji's not normal? Like he's not just really strong for no reason. It's specifically because of his dad? Oh my god. Jump off the building and see if you can handle it. Jeez. Oh, he was scared. I mean, that's normal. Yonji did it. Oh god. Oh, it's so far down. Oh. Fucking insane, man. They're always smiling and he's always sad. God. Poor Sanji. Knowing this family, they were also like, look, even the girl's doing it. It does seem like she's less of a dick than the brothers. But still, you know, doesn't care about Sanji at all. Jesus, man. I mean, she has like a, you know, a little bit of a bother. Maybe she just numbed herself to it over time. Maybe she at first kind of cared. And then she got so numb from all of it. Damn. Oh my god. And she's not laughing there. Now she is. There you go. I think we're seeing the transition point. Over time, she fit in more with her family. I know it's a Sanji backstory and I'm focusing on Reiju's character development, but do you expect anything less from this channel? Jeez. She's not joining in. Still looking at Reiju. The bloodline elements came up again, okay. Oh, turn back to their original forms. So he is normal. Oh, okay, never mind. Oh, here we go. Oh. Okay. They've had this talk. It's still, you know, not great. She's not a great person, but Nolan the Liar. Oh, because Nolan the Liar was a story from the North Blue, wasn't it? Like Sanji knew about it back then? I don't know, something like that. Or it was popular enough in the North Blue that he knew about it. Oh my god. You can't feed a rat. Go fuck yourself, dude. We almost saw his mother. No! It's a reverse ratatouille. It's a human cooking for a rat. Oh, we do kind of see her. Just don't see her eyes. Oh my god. Oh, boo-hoo, my son died. Oh my god. Reiju, are you? Is that a smile to hide how sad you are? I still haven't looked this up, but this is absolutely... Aoyuki? Is that... Oh. Oh my god. We've gone 800 episodes and didn't know how horrible Sanji's life was. Oh, okay. Small correction. I've now reminded myself. Yeah. Ikue Utani is who I meant, not Aoyuki, when I said that. I always get those two names mixed up, and the reason I get those two names mixed up is because they're both really famous actresses known for doing exceptionally cute voices. So I always get those two actors mixed up. Anyway, not Aoyuki, Ikue Utani. Anyway, crazy episode. And by the way, yes, Ikue Utani is who plays Kid Sanji. Which, I mean, you know, you can tell just by listening to it. It is, like, wild, though. I guess she... Like, it's been a long time since I've seen the original Sanji backstory episodes, like, back when we first saw them in Japanese in the anime. You know, I've seen it in the live action a bunch of times since, and I've seen it in English sometimes when rewatching it and stuff, but it's been a long time since I've seen... You know, I've basically only seen the Japanese version of the backstory once, like, back then. So, assuming they didn't change the voice actor, then I guess she was the voice of Sanji, young Sanji back then. And then when Chopper came around, I guess they were like, well, we want a cute voice, and we've already, like, we used it for Sanji, but... Like, we want, you know, like, she's perfect for this, so we'll just, you know, and I mean, One Piece, you know, reuses voice actors all the time. It's like a constant thing. I mean, you know, Frankie plays, like, 3 big characters. Frankie's voice actor is, like, Frankie and Bon Clay and Django. I know Django's not a big character, but, you know, like, it's at least a character that's a named character that had a role in the story or whatever. So, and, you know, I feel like there's not many series that do that where you... that's not true, I guess. But, like, I mean, I just feel like a lot of the time if they have, like, a really iconic voice, they really try not to make another iconic character have the same voice actor, or at least the same voice actor doing a somewhat similar voice. But, like, One Piece kind of unashamedly has... Bon Clay and Frankie sound very similar. Like he's definitely doing different voices for them, but they sound like you can tell it's the same person. Like if they were off screen and said like a short line, you wouldn't know which character was saying it, I think. Or you know, you could, but like you wouldn't be made fun of for getting it wrong. So yeah, anyway, it's just like, the reason I'm saying all this is because we watched this backstory and I'm just like, we're just hearing Chopper's voice. Like, it's a backstory and I just can't like detach it from the fact that it's just Chopper's voice. But I guess, you know, they were probably using that voice before, like, you know, they couldn't go back. They didn't know that they were going to use her for Chopper later on down the line, and now they're just making her reprise her role as young Sanji. So yeah, anyway, so that was a great episode. I got a lot out of that episode. So I guess we'll talk about the thing that's like I was talking about the most in this, which was the Reiju stuff. Because look, this has been the most interesting part of the Sanji Vinsmoke storyline right now, is trying to figure out like where does Reiju fall into this, because they're consistently showing how the 3 brothers and the dad are all antagonizing him constantly over and over and over. But with Reiju, they've shown Reiju disciplining Yonji, where she was like, hey, feed these people or whatever, saving Luffy's life, and kind of checking on Sanji, you know, like not in a great way, but like at the very least checking, you know, talking to him about this stuff normally without antagonizing him. And so, you know, there's like, I think it's really interesting, because I think what we're seeing here, I mean, we saw in that backstory, young Sanji said, like, why do you always help me? Why are you so nice to me? And she's like, well, you don't want me to be nice? And Sanji went, no, I do, but like, then you laugh at me like everyone else does. And she goes like, yeah, well, that's like everyone else does it, so I need to do it as well. Otherwise, I'm also going to be laughed at. And it's like, it makes sense as like a kid's point of view, right? But it's also like it's not great. It's not great behavior, because then he has absolutely no one in his corner. So even though she's like backing him up secretly, it's like that kind of doesn't matter, because then he ends up in a cage underground with a like helmet over his face, because they don't want him to be part of the family, because he had no one on his side. Now, I'm not saying if Reiju like stood up for him a bunch that would change anything necessarily, but we don't know. It could have. So it's like she's not a saint for sure. As much as I would love to defend her here and back, because I mean I'm gonna defend the ladies, she's definitely not a saint, but definitely the most potential for, hey, this character is actually going to help us out in this arc. Like, that's what it seems like. So, I mean, if you have the character arc for her being like, because it seems like so far it's been, she kind of got so used to just going with the flow that she's kind of numb to the stuff that's happening, and like, and she just watches it play out and it doesn't really affect her. I would love if they had the character arc go in a direction where eventually, like, Sanji does something or says something that actually, like, strikes her in the heart, and she, like, and the guilt hits her. I would love to see the guilt arc for Reiju, where she's actually, like, starts to feel, I don't care if Sanji kills his brothers and his father, but it would be really cool if he had some family by the end of this. And of course, I'm gonna want the woman to be the one to survive from the family, but like, I just from watching the others, like, they feel like I can't see them coming to his side anyway. But Reiju, there's something there, so I can see if they could be setting stuff up there for her that would make me really love it. Like, I think there's a lot of potential there for that storyline. But yeah, I mean, I guess we'll see. I'm just really excited about that. But yeah, Sanji's backstory, I mean, it's just so depressing. I don't have that much to say about the backstory itself, other than it's just so sad. Except they said, so it seems like there are bloodline elements that they can, like, that they change, they affect in some way, and he gave birth to these children and had their bloodline elements affected or whatever, so that they're basically super soldiers. They're like enhanced people, but then apparently Sanji's like reverted, and so the others were still enhanced, but Sanji was like legitimately just normal, which means that bit where they're jumping off a building and Sanji's like, holy shit, I'm not doing that. Like, if he did do that, if his bloodline elements did revert or whatever, he actually would have just died there, and he would have just splattered on the ground, and they would have been like, oh, well, experiment 3, failure, done, that's it. And that would have been really, really messed up. But I guess it's like, maybe when your bloodline element is affected and changed, you look at that height and you don't feel the fear of jumping, because your body knows it's fine. Like, if I look down from on this chair at the floor, I don't feel the fear of getting off this chair. Oh! No, it's fine, right? Because I know that I can handle that fall. So I wonder if like that's what happens when you've had that affected, like your body just knows jumping down that fall, it's like from this chair to the floor, it's nothing. So I wonder if that's the case, or if the others were just so zealot, like such zealots, and Sanji just wasn't that zealous as the rest of them, and it had nothing to do with the bloodline element thing. But so when they started this, I was like, oh shit, Sanji's not a normal human. And then they said in the episode, no, he is a normal human, which is really interesting. But they said it like it changed, right? Or it changed back. Is it possible for it to change back again? Like, either is it possible for that to happen, or has that happened? Because Sanji does crazy shit. Like Diable Jambe, his devil kick, flame foot, whatever it's called, devil's foot. That shit is like superhuman. But the thing about One Piece is you can't say what exactly is the line that a human can reach, because it's crazy, like theoretically Mihawk is just a really strong human from what we know, right? He doesn't have the devil's fruit as far as we know. He's not enhanced, he's not a robot, he's not a, I don't know, not a vampire, I guess, maybe. I mean, that's the closest thing. Like, he kind of looks like a vampire, but I don't think he is. He's got, like, he just has a big sword and is really good at using it. I'm pretty sure, as far as we know so far. So, that's like, but he can go up against almost anyone in the world. Like, he's incredibly fucking powerful. So, that's sort of what I'm looking at when I'm looking at, like, well, this is what a human can be. And he does insane shit. So when you say, like, Sanji's human, that could mean fucking anything. Like, Sanji being human could put her on her. You know why I said her? Because I'm thinking about Nami, because I'm going to transition into talking about Nami soon. Could put him on the level of Mihawk, or it could put him on the level of Zoro, or it could put him on the level of Helmeppo. That's not fair, because Helmeppo's gotten a lot stronger. Helmeppo when we first met him, like that level. There's such a huge range there. So I don't know. But speaking of people who are human and don't have special things about them, but still fight, Nami gotta fight. I mean, it wasn't much of a fight. She didn't do a crazy amount, but it's fine. Like, I don't expect, when I sit down to watch One Piece and there's a Nami fight, I'm not expecting there to be like a crazy one-on-one. I've said this before. I mean, look, we all know I'm a huge Nami fan, okay? I love Nami so very much. I also understand her role in the show. That I would love for her to have more, like, solo fight type things, right? I mean, she's had a few in the series. She had, Sekuhara Des, like, what's the, what's her name? The assistant, Iceberg's assistant. So she faced her, she faced Doublefinger, right? So, like, she had a few one-on-one fights in the series. But, like, not many. But, I will say, the show gives her moments. Like, she'll have her crazy cool navigator moments. She also just gets a lot of spotlight just in regular conversation, I feel like. Because she is a pseudo leader for the Straw Hats. I mean, I've talked about this before, where it's like, oh, if you were to consider different roles, I would put Nami as like vice captain, while Zoro is first mate. And I mean, there's arguments to be made for fucking everything, and you could say Zoro like is first mate and vice captain, or that they're basically the same role or whatever. But like, I would separate those roles for them. But like, I just think Nami gets a lot of moments, and even though her moments aren't necessarily like huge highlight moments like some other characters get, I think they're appropriate to the role that the character has in the show. So I'm like the biggest Nami simp in the world, but I'm okay with the fact that like she's not a major. She doesn't have these huge moments. But when she does have big moments, it makes me so happy. But then you also have stuff like One Piece fan letter, and I mean, that's a really, really recent development. But One Piece fan letter was like all based around Nami basically, and that was one of the best pieces of media related to One Piece I've ever seen in my life. So it was like at the very least she got that one very special moment. You don't see Brook getting a fan letter special, do you? But yeah, anyway. So I didn't expect the Nami fight to be mind-blowing or anything, or super long, or her to do crazy shit. I knew it's just her delaying, but it's just nice to see her, because I mean that's fucking bravery. This is Biscuit, who Luffy has genuinely like been struggling against this whole time, and there wasn't an implication that Biscuit was not trying to kill her, you know? Like, I was gonna say it wasn't holding back, but he was technically holding back, because she provoked him and said like, oh, you can't fight me one-on-one, and he's like, fine, I'll fight you one-on-one. So he was technically holding back in that regard, but I think when he was fighting one-on-one, he was genuinely like trying to kill her, and like maybe playing around a tiny bit, but overall she, you know, she held her own against him. She fought, and that, honestly, like, that, I think people don't remember or don't take into account how fucking strong Nami actually is. She's just on a crew of absolute beasts, so she doesn't look very strong. She looks like she's the weakest, and I mean, she might be the weakest Straw Hat just in terms of battle prowess, but just going through in my head, I think she is. I think she's the weakest in terms of battle prowess. Maybe Usopp, but I mean, Usopp, no, I think it's her. But no, still, she still, you know, is very, very strong compared to your average person. She could, like, clear, like, 90% of the world in a fight, I think. Anyone who shit talks an army in the comments, she could beat your ass in a fight easily, you know, with her eyes closed. So, yeah, I loved that little bit, because I especially loved the bit where where Biscuit says, I keep saying Biscuit, his name is Cracker, his fruit is the biscuit, the biz fruit, but his name is Cracker. Oh god, I'm gonna get comments of people telling me I'm wrong, and they're right to tell me that I'm wrong, but I know in my heart his name is Cracker. Don't correct me, please. Please, I just can't think of it in time. Cracker, when he says to her, like, why do you care about this guy so much? Like, why are you fighting for him? You know, like, is he worth risking your life for? Is he worth dying for to save him? And she's like, look, he's perverted and he's fucking annoying and I hate him sometimes, but like, this man puts his life on the line for all of us constantly, all the time, and he truly does. I mean, if I'm gonna give, and I mean, I think I've been giving Sanji some really good props for a little while now. He's come a long fucking way since his low points at Fishman Island. But like, when things get tough, Sanji always puts himself on the line. With no fear. Absolutely no fear. Remember when he stood up against Eneru and like actually just let himself be struck by lightning or whatever? Like, this man constantly does it. He fought Doflamingo one-on-one. That's the flashback they showed in that bit. He fought Doflamingo one-on-one to save them. Like, this man is fucking badass. So yeah, I love that she said that, and it was like, so of course, like, it just makes sense. I'm gonna put my life on the line for him as well, because it's like he does it all the time for us. So yeah, really good. Really good. All right, let's move on to the next and final episode we're doing in this video. This is episode 804. Here we go. Whoa, hold on. Oh my god. Recap Rubik's. It didn't have the little intro bit. Jump scared by recap. I mean, I'd be okay with that if they stopped doing that little intro sequence. It's very long. Alright, that's how far I got in the queue. This episode is called Sanji's Depressing Life. Why we should feel sorry for the pervert. Just beating up clones that think they're not clones. Oh! Them being clones is actually a really good justification for not having many women in the background. Does that mean most of the Marines are clones as well? Oh, they all get the father's approval. And hugs? They get hugs? Oh my god. It actually makes me sadder to know that he gives hugs to the ones he approves of. Feed the rat. 6 months. Jesus, man, this kid... He's in prison for 6 months. He was on an island for how long was it? Like 3 months or something without any food? No, a lot of cute female chefs. They had to unlock him just to let him eat. I mean, yeah, pretty fancy meal. Aww. Feed anyone who's hungry. He always loved seeing people who are hungry be fed. I didn't even think about his mother's legacy was serving. That's what they implied before, and I wasn't thinking about it. Oh. I mean, the omelets look fine. The rolled eggs or whatever they are. Oh my god. Learn about her mother. Her mother? His mother? I keep misgendering Sanji in this video. Aww. Aww. She looks like a Russian nesting doll. This woman. Aww. He tried to make something for his mom. Oh. Okay, she looks like a blonde Reiju. Is that Nami's voice actor? Is it? It sounds like Nami. Get it back. Oh, she really cared about. Oda loves the idea of food being ruined and still eating it anyway. Oh, the pictures in the background, she has one picture with just Sanji. Oh. Sanji, maybe they were lying before, maybe she's still alive and it's fine. Okay, she doesn't seem alive. No! This isn't fair. Sanji already had a sad backstory, Oda. You just made it like 10 times more sad than it already was. Did he like teach himself while in prison? Oh my god. So that's how he knew how to cook when Zeph found him. Oh. I guess when you have nothing else to do. I kind of want to be in prison now and like pick up a skill like that. Oh. What's Ichiji coming down here for? Oh my god. Is this how Sanji escaped? They open the door to come kill him. He escapes, finds his way out onto a boat. Oh, Robin, I miss you. We go so long with only Robin and no Nami, and I miss Nami so much, and now we're going Nami and no Robin. And Reiju's there, and she just, yeah, she's still a bystander. Unless she helps him escape somehow. Oh, she fixes him up a bit. Aww. It's nice that she's still keeping him in the loop. Damn, man. There's so much backstory that I didn't know I needed. Wow, we're gonna see how they get over the red line? Do they just like shoot chains up there and climb up? Oh no, they're snails! They're snails! They can just... That makes a lot of sense. And they just go up one piece at a time. That's so interesting. That's how they can go anywhere. So they just came and beat the shit out of Sanji. Reiju came and healed him a bunch. Gave him some first aid. And then he went back to cooking. What a life. Well, it's 3 o'clock. Time to get my ass kicked by my brothers. Corgia. She is trying to just keep out of the business. Is she the reason he runs away? Oh my god. Oh my god! She's the reason he gets out? Okay, Reiju. Alright. Okay. This is good. She's not just as bad as the rest of them. She's way better. Way better. Whew. That's relieving because she's very pretty. This also might be like foreshadowing for her helping him get out in the present. Nice. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. How does he get out of this? Because Reiju can't like outwardly help him. Because in the present she's like in good graces with him. Or does he just let him go? And it's like, look, you're gonna die out there. Go try. Damn. God. That's so fucked. But I mean, good that he doesn't want to kill his own son, but still fucked. Never come back. I mean, I wouldn't even if tortured. Like, that. You're a fucking loser. Oh, even Reiju's outside the room crying. God. God. Cannot wait until we beat Judge. This is an appropriate time to cry, I think. Oh. Oh. Wait, maybe Reiju's goated. I don't know. I mean, she's the only reason he's alive and out there and living his dream. Oh. It's really rewarding seeing this as well after seeing how like apathetic she seemed up till now. So to know she really did care is important to me. God. Just cutting back to once again being back here, being beaten by his brothers. Oh, man. Man. Ugh, I hate the Vin Smokes, except Reiju, I guess. I don't hate Reiju. I mean, I was saying, like, she was just a bystander. She wasn't doing anything to help or anything, and that makes her, you know, almost as bad. But then she wasn't a bystander. She actively helped him. So I'm sorry, Reiju. I wasn't familiar with your game. That you proved yourself. That's a really risky thing to do for him. She could have, like, she kept saying, like, oh, I have to stay out of it. I can't be the person to, like, not be laughing at you. I can't be seen to be standing up for you or whatever. And I mean, she still wasn't seen standing up for him in the end, but at least she gave him a chance. At least she gave him a chance to find people who could stand beside him. I think that's really nice. Man. Oh, like, this is really interesting because it's really funny how Sanji's backstory to me, when we originally learned his first backstory, it didn't feel like there were holes in it. But now that they're showing me all of this stuff, I'm looking at that original backstory and going, like, that original backstory was like nothing. That was barely a part of his story. That was just like a small part of his development was all the Zeph stuff. I mean, not a small part in terms of like the length of it and how it developed his personality in a positive direction, but this backstory really fills in a lot of like, oh no, this is some deep shit into why Sanji's the way he is. I mean, it makes sense that Sanji's like pretty bitter sometimes, you know? Sanji can be quite a bitter person and can get very frustrated by people a lot, which is why like Zoro rubs him the wrong way, I think. Like Zoro has always been very hot-headed, but Sanji wasn't hot-headed. He was a very emotional kid. And that's something I wanted to talk about. I think I wanted to talk about this in the last episode and forgot to. Was it the last episode? Yeah, Sanji kid characterization. I have written as a note for the last episode and I didn't read that. Because I remember in like really, really early One Piece reactions of mine. And like it's not often that I'm gonna remember discussions that I did for episodes like back in the first 100 episodes, but I think this was a discussion from in the first 100 episodes of the series. We had just seen a backstory from one of the Straw Hats. I think it's the point where we saw Nami's backstory. And I said something I was relieved about at the time was that Nami's kid, like Nami as a kid, that characterization was distinct from the Sanji, Zoro, Luffy kid characterization. And what I meant by that was back in the very first episodes of One Piece, when they showed the backstory of Luffy, and then they showed the backstory of Zoro, and then they showed the backstory of Sanji. I think it was in that order. When they showed all those backstories, Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji as kids were characterized in my view at the time very, very similarly. Like, it was just like, this is a kid who has strength deep inside, is emotional, but it doesn't show that he's emotional. And he hates the idea of like people seeing him as emotional, and he wants to reach his, he's got an incredibly lofty goal that he wants to reach right now, and he's extremely hot-headed. Like, he will just get provoked by anything, right? That was the characterization of all three of those kid characters. And so at the time I was like, you know, I was, when the Nami one came up, I was like, okay, I'm glad at least that we have some variety in characterizations. Because, I mean, Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji as characters when they were older, like as modern day characters back then, were distinct personalities. But then when we saw the flashbacks, it was like, it felt like you could just slot any of those characters in to that backstory and like they would be acting the same. But then we saw Nami, and Nami was distinct. She was different, right? And we didn't see much of Usopp's backstory, but he was different as well when he was a kid, right? Anyway, that being said, over time it's changed. I would say Zoro, I still have the same opinion of what he was as a kid. Like I don't think my opinion of that changed, but when we saw Luffy's extended backstory with Sabo and Ace, I saw Luffy differently, and that characterization of Luffy as a kid was distinct from the Zoro personality type when he was a kid. It felt very distinct to me, because Luffy felt a bit more needy there, and he felt much more like the little brother archetype, and like... it's been a while since I've watched it, but there were some other things that made him feel quite different, right? And then this, expanding on Sanji as a kid before all the Zeph stuff, and I now no longer, like, now I'm seeing him in a different light, where like this went deep into the emotion, and this was just like, I'm almost now seeing Sanji as a kid from a point of fear. That feels like what dictated it a lot of the time, was just like the fear of not being part of his family, the fear of death, the fear of jumping off a building, the fear of like never making anything of his life, but also the want to serve people, the want to be helpful, to be to watch people love something that he made, and being able to see that characterization make him more distinct. It's like Oda is retroactively making his writing from early One Piece better, which is really good. I mean, that's what good writing should do, I think, is like, even if you wrote something that was kind of, you know, average early on, which, I mean, they were still great backstories, by the way. I don't want to like go back and like retroactively say like, oh, Luffy and Zoro and Sanji's backstories initially were so shit, because they're not. They were great backstories, like in terms of like the events that happened, and I mean, the characterization was good. It was just very similar to each other, right? In my opinion, in my view of the situation. And I know that you could really dig deep into it and go like, well, no, here's how they're different. I'm not really looking for that sort of analysis, because I could do that as well. I'm saying like sort of surface level, like the bits that we're actually perceiving and feeling for these characters, and the things that I would write in the script for them to say are very similar to me. But like, you know, Oda can take those backstories and go like, well, let's see if we can flesh them out a bit. So now, when you go back and look at those backstories, we're going to have so much more context, and it makes those backstories back then feel so much more rich, which I think is really great when writing can do that. When you're watching old episodes, I mean, one of my favorite things is like, when I'm watching a show and, you know, first season, I'm like, oh, like, this is just a generic show. I don't care. Like, something that I end up loving, but I'm watching the first season, I'm like, okay, yeah, this is pretty good, this is great. And then I watch season 2 and I'm like, oh, I think I'm starting to really like this show. And then I watch season 3 and then they reveal some crazy shit and it's amazing, right? Eventually I go back and I start rewatching from episode 1, and then episode 1 is making me like bawl my eyes out. When I first watched episode 1, and again, I'm just talking about a generic show. Like, I'm not talking about a specific show, but this happens a lot to me, where like the first time I watched episode 1, I was just like, oh, this is kind of cool and interesting. I wonder what's going on here. But when I'm rewatching it, I'm like, holy shit, it's gripping. The story's really good. These characters are so great, and you can see how when he talks to this girl, they're talking about this, and then that ties into this, and you start to like see everything, and it like makes the initial part so much better. And I mean, that's what's beautiful about media sometimes, is the more attached you get to it, the more all of it matters to you more. So yeah, I just think it's really cool, and this was a good backstory to tie that all together. Yeah, that's all I had. I mean, I said all of that off a note from last episode. I don't really have any notes from this episode that I want to talk about. But I think I've done enough. I think you've had enough discussion. Thank you very much. So thanks for watching. Make sure to support this video if you can, liking, commenting, and subscribing. And go to my Patreon account for full-length early access and exclusive videos. You can get the next 3 weeks or so of One Piece full-length videos on my Patreon account right now, or you can get the next week of edited videos on my YouTube membership down below. But thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Goodbye.